is Chris. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Popcorn Finance, the show where we discuss finance and about the time it takes to make a bag of popcorn. Today, we're covering a topic that I think needs to be discussed more. This is something that I think if we talked about it more, maybe we'd have more real change, and that's discussing our pay and salaries in the workplace. And to help me tackle this I don't even know if you would call it controversial. Maybe just a difficult thing that people don't want to talk about. This topic that no one wants to talk about. I'm joined by Purple, the anonymous creator behind apurplelife.com, who is planning to retire this year at the age of 30. Plutus Award winner. You've been featured in multiple publications. Purple, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me.
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
It's going to be weird to call someone a color, but I think it fits you well. I
think you'll get used to it. A few in real life friends call me that now, like accidentally.
And so today's episode was all born out of a tweet that you sent out, I think was late 2019 when I ran across it. So I'm really excited to jump into this. But before we do, I wanted to say thanks again to Mint Mobile for bringing you all today's bag of popcorn. If you're still using one of the big wireless providers, you have to ask yourself, what are you really paying for? Sometimes I look down at my phone and I'm just trying to watch a simple YouTube video and it won't even work. And I ask myself this very question. And this is where Mint Mobile comes in. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything they do is online. With Mint Mobile, you can cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month, and every plan comes with unlimited nationwide talk and text. You even get to choose how much data you want for your plan. That's between 3, 8, or 12 gigabytes of 4G LTE data. So to get your wireless plan for just $15 a month and get it shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/popcornfinance. Again, that's mintmobile.com/popcornfinance. Purple, let's jump into this tweet that you sent out that you said caused a little bit of a riot in your office. So I'm going to read it directly right here. He said, "So I might have accidentally started a riot at work by sharing my salary and range for a promotion, which led us to discover, 1, my promoted colleague makes $20,000 less than she should. 2, I'm making as much as her despite being a lower level. And 3, our company lied to our faces." So that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. I think it's a clear example why it is so important to talk about our pay in the workplace, even though it's an uncomfortable conversation. So could you give us a little more background on this? Give me some more context behind what's going on in this tweet and the situation in your office.
Happy to. So what happened was I was going into the office, which is rare for me because I usually actually work from home. But I went into the office to help a friend with some internal initiative she was doing. We got done with that fairly quickly. And then I hadn't seen her since she was recently promoted to a level above me. And so I was like, congratulations, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you, whatever. And then she went on talking about how she was actually surprised by how small the raise was that came with the promotion. And she was kind of awkwardly trying to skirt around actual numbers while talking about it. And I wasn't going to have any of that. I've always been very open with my finances, both on the blog and off the blog. If someone has ever asked me my salary, I tell them, which has happened in the past and had some interesting consequences we can talk about later. But I was like, I don't mind just sharing if that's easier, since you seem to be having a hard time talking about what you're trying to talk about without the numbers. So for example, I'm making $110K right now. And her jaw dropped because she has more years of experience than I do. She has been at the company longer. So there's literally no reason, especially with a promotion bump, she should be making less than me. And so she was understandably pretty enraged. Yeah,
I get that for sure.
Yeah, and she had been very open with her boss. They have a great relationship. So she says, no, I'm kidding. And her boss had told her that this was appropriate and standard across the company. And that was part of the lying part that we discovered. She told my colleague, who is the only other African-American person working in the company, and she went off because we had actually had discussions about salaries before in vague terms. She hadn't asked me direct numbers, but we had talked about raise percentages. And she told me that she had fought really hard for a 9% raise that year, to which I retorted, I got a 2.56%, which is, wow. And it was after almost 2 years. So that's not even inflation. But I was like, whatever, I'm already making fine. I like my job. I like my boss. I did bother him for over a year for that little piddly raise, but it's something. At my level, that's still a couple $1,000s. So I really can't complain, but it's not keeping up with inflation. So when I told her, she went off because then we discovered that even with her 9% raise, she was still making 2/3 of what I'm making. And we're at the exact same level. We do the exact same work. It was
Wow.
insanity.
So what ended up happening?
So after that, after we got over our rage, we came up with a plan. We had a text chain that we started, and we're still on discussing any updates. We've had calls talking about how we want to approach our bosses, or I'm not approaching anyone, how they want to approach their bosses about a raise and getting what they're worth. We also started a spreadsheet anonymously with the salaries broken out. We also get, besides a base salary at our company, we get types of bonuses. And we also discovered that different people were told different things about those bonuses, who was eligible for them, and how much they were. So we have all that laid out, and we're sharing that and slowly getting other people to add their salaries to that as well. And where we are right now is we actually have several approaches. So one woman talked directly to her boss about this and gave harsh numbers like this is what's happening. I'm not being fairly compensated. I actually got an offer from another company that was X, instead of like throwing me under the bus and like, I don't make as much as that, meh. So it's not market rate. So that was her angle that we decided. Her boss came back and said, oh, these numbers that you heard are incorrect for the market rate, and also what I had heard from HR. I was like, really? HR is giving incorrect information? Okay. And then she was trying to explain why there would be such a large pay disparity, even within one bracket. Apparently, then gave up when she wasn't able to like properly explain it, and then just told my colleague, okay, just give me a number. Like, how much do you want? And I'll do my best to talk to leadership and see you get it, or we have a plan in place for you to get it. So that's where she is right now.
Okay.
Another colleague is talking directly with HR to talk about the best way to approach her boss. They don't have the same awesome relationship as the first woman, so that they don't go on the defensive, and she can actually have a conversation and see if she can get what she's paid or get what she's worth. And then a third woman is currently updating her resume and planning to get out. And we are sharing resources and contacts for similar jobs in the area with her and trying to support her in the best way we can.
Wow, so that's a lot of things going on right there.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So my thought, as you were talking, you're kind of going through, you answered a lot of the questions I was going to ask you. So, I mean, thank you for filling me in there. What I was going to say is, I think one, this is a great example of the pay disparity that can exist. And it's been historically shown that women, people of color, deal with this disproportionately to others in the workplace. And even worse, if you're both of those together, I mean, the impact of that. And so, I mean, why is it, I think, because a lot of people don't want to have this conversation. They just feel so uncomfortable talking about money. Why is it that you feel so comfortable having this conversation? Like, where does this come from?
I think it's because I'm a straight up weirdo. I mean, I'm here with usually my purple hair. I've got some facial piercings going on. Like, I've never really fit in or wanted to fit in. And I really like examining the world around us and thinking if X or Y makes sense. And I don't think, in any sense of the word, I don't think that not talking about money makes sense at all. It allows employers to have power over us. It allows us to get paid less as women and people of color. It doesn't make any sense. So why should we be so closed-lipped about it? I don't think we should be. So that's one of the reasons I'm completely open on my blog and in real life. And I'm trying to change that slowly.
So, I mean, what would be your advice for people who are they don't have purple in their office initiating these conversations? Because, I mean, your story is a perfect example of how a really, short conversation can spur, maybe not, and like you said, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, everyone gets $20,000 more. They're not doing that, but at least people are now considering their options. And it's like, well, if I now know what I am worth, I can now go out into the market now and look for that versus just sitting here thinking everything's fine. What can other people do to maybe initiate these conversations in their workplace? Do you have any approaches that you think is maybe more palatable for those who are a little shy to bring up their finances in the office?
I think if you don't want to just jump in with sharing your salary or your net worth or anything like that. Just being open with money conversations, period. For example, I'm always encouraging my colleagues to even contribute to their 401ks. And they're like, what's that? Or they're coming to me talking about, what's an HSA? I'm happy to answer all these questions. And they're starting to realize that I'm someone that's fairly knowledgeable about it. I'm really bad at being anonymous, apparently. But just being open with those conversations, because money's such a taboo. Even those things that you share with colleagues, like 401ks, are something that people are like, taken aback talking about, or talking about what they have their 401ks invested in. One of my colleagues has a 401k and didn't know that it was a bucket that you then put investments into. So they didn't know what they were invested in. I was like, do you might want to look that up? Like, I'm happy, I'm happy to help you. But yeah, I just think being open with those conversations is important, even as a little baby step. And then down the road, you'd be like, bam, I make this much. How much do you make?
I like that. It's building up to it. Like, don't just walk in one day and say, everyone, tell me what you make. You don't want to yell that down the hall.
Show me your bank account.
Exactly. Everyone lay it out on the table. Put it out. We're going to look at these together. But, you're kind of building up the culture of, this is what we do here. We all are open. We share. And it's probably good. I mean, it's probably still going to be a little awkward to start off with. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like, over time, maybe you can build that trust with the coworkers and develop that type of atmosphere in your workplace.
Yeah. And I wasn't always comfortable having these conversations, but I knew they were important. So I just forced myself to have them. And now I'm totally cool with it.
Well, I love that. And please, I want an update. I want to know what's going to happen to these coworkers if any of them are actually going to get the raise they deserve, or if any of them decided, hey, they got to put themselves out there and end up getting a better offer somewhere else. I would love to get an update on the situation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you hopping in and being open and sharing the story. And hopefully this will spur some conversations among people listening. Maybe this is going to be the push you need to go and have a conversation, or at least start the conversation in your office with your coworkers, and hopefully get some more money out of it. So Purple, thank you so much for being here. If people want to check out some more of the work that you're doing and some of the great pieces that you're writing over on purplelife.com, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
You just said it, purplelife.com. You can find me on there, all my social media handles. If you're interested in some other riotous tweets or Instagram pictures of food, mostly. Look me up there.
All right, perfect. And I'll put all that in the show notes, that way people can go out and find you. And best of luck on your upcoming retirement that's coming later this year.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited.
I'll have to have you back on to talk about that. I want to learn a little bit more about that.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Of course. Have a great day.
Yeah, boy, keep it poppin' like Mary Poppins.
Hey, I'm popping back in here really quickly to let you know about a very special project that I've been working on with Allison Baggerly from Inspired Budget. We're excited to announce that we're starting a new podcast together called This Is Awkward. Here is a quick little teaser that I put together to let you all know a little bit about the show, and hope that you'll come and join us over there on This Is Awkward. Hey, this is Chris, one half of the This Is Awkward team. Allison and I are very excited to be bringing the This Is Awkward podcast to your phones, to your computers, your car, very, very soon. We're actually in the process of working through some of your awkward money situations right now. The first official episode of This Is Awkward will be launching on March 4th. But until then, we'll be popping into your feed from time to time to give you a little more information on what the show is about and what you can expect. If you want to be a part of the show, and we hope you do, you can give us a call over at 707-200-8259. Again, that's 707-200-8259. 8259, and that should be in the show notes for this episode as well, because we would love to help you take on an awkward money situation that you might be dealing with, and you might not want to bring up to your friends and family because they might be the reason that you're dealing with this awkward situation. We'd love to hear from you, so please reach out. Allison can be found at Inspired Budget, and I'm over at Popcorn Finance Podcast. So definitely reach out, say hi, and let us know if you are excited for the first episode of This Is Awkward. So you can head out and subscribe to This Is Awkward right now. It's available in the very place that you're listening to this show now, or you can just check out the show notes. I'll have a link in there for you to go and check out the show, because once you're subscribed, you'll get the first episode right when it comes out, and we'll be releasing some teaser episodes, or I guess you call them little teaser clips, between now and the launch date of March 4th to give you a little taste of what the show is going to be about. So really excited for this. I think both Allison and I are both really excited for this project, and we hope that you'll come over and join us there, and maybe even give us a call and let us know if you have an awkward situation that we can walk you through.